All right. Hi, guys. Welcome to our Elite Series training. And we have Morgan Rieger here tonight. We're super excited to talk about the different things about going diamond. She's a 9-star diamond, 2-time Elite Coach, and she's going to share her tips with us. So we're super pumped to have her, and we're super excited to have you here and help you reach all of your goals as coaches as well. So, Morgan, I will turn it over to you.
Awesome. This is so weird because I can't see anybody's faces. This is a good thing for like stage fright. Can't see anybody. It's like I'm talking to myself or talking to Autumn and Kelsey because I can see them. But Kels, just stop me if for some reason something is wrong or I freeze or something like that. So, all right. Hey, everybody. First of all, thank you for having me. I was super pumped when Autumn and Kels asked me to speak on this call. I remember when I first started coaching and I started hosting my own team calls and nobody showed up. So I would do a call to myself, and then now it's so cool to see Autumn's one of my personal coaches, to see her now hosting calls for her team. Like, it's so cool to see that over just 2.5 years. So I couldn't think of better coaches than Autumn and Kels to be training you. These are two of the most passionate coaches I've ever seen. They're phenomenal teachers. They just get it. And you're definitely in good hands, so I'm pumped to be here. All right. So what I want to talk about tonight is basically the big picture of what it takes to be a diamond coach. I thought about kind of what topic would really help you become a diamond coach. And I hummed and hawed, talked to Kels about it a lot. And I came down to, I want to talk about 3 things that really, when I look back to when I was pushing to be a diamond coach, what things helped me. And what it came down to was, it wasn't the nitty-gritty specific stuff that helped me, because realistically I could Google that stuff in a second. You know, I knew how many coaches I needed to be diamond. I knew what my volume needed to be, blah, blah, blah. That kind of stuff was just information. I could find that. I knew it. I knew what it took to get diamond. But then I was like, okay, well, what is going to get me from emerald to diamond, or from new coach to diamond, and what makes a difference between people that hit diamond really fast, people that hit diamond slow, people that struggle, people that don't struggle. And it came down to 3 main points that I've got written down here that I'm going to cover with you guys. And I will tell you, honestly, I was a slow coach to get to diamond. And when anybody ever asks me what's one thing I wish I would have done when I was a new coach, and it was obvious. It was share the business opportunity, share coaching. That's it. Because I didn't share it until, oh my gosh, like I was like probably 6 months, half a year into coaching. I was challenge groups. I sold challenge packs. I love working out. I loved helping people work out. And it was as simple as that. I see Autumn and Cal smiling. Am I still good? Yeah, okay. But I didn't start sharing about coaching for so long, and once I did, people were like, oh my gosh, Mark, I wish I would have known about this sooner, because that has changed so many lives. So the sooner you can share about that and the sooner you can get to diamond, trust me, the better. So I'm going to cover 3 main things that helped me personally reach diamond, and has helped a lot of my coaches reach diamond as well. As Kel said, we're a brand new 9-star diamond team, so that means we have 9 diamonds on our team. Actually, even more, because I've got some under Steven and some under my dad as well. So we know what we're doing. All right, so number 1, the basics come first. If you've got this goal of being a diamond coach, that's great, that's phenomenal, but you cannot ever forget about the foundation, which is you. You're your business. If you let that foundation crumble, you are going to crumble. There's no way you can build a strong business with a weak foundation, and that foundation comes down to you and the vital behaviors. Working out, being proof of the product, personal development, and just basic inviting. And inviting, obviously, is probably what you're doing the most when you're pushing for diamond, but sometimes people forget about personal development, about their workout. If you stop posting, you stop reading your personal development, I promise you, you're going to crumble so fast it's not even going to be funny. Because if you don't have control up here, you're not fueling yourself with your workouts and your Shakeology, the road to diamond is going to be really, really, really hard. If you've ever noticed, when your workouts are on point, when you're crushing it with a program, your nutrition's on point, your PD is on point, don't your goals seem so much easier? It's like, dang, I got posts coming out of my butt. I'm just on fire, right? So that foundation is key. I don't care what your goal is. You come first. You're your business. If you are personally growing and you are strong, your business is going to be strong. If you are weak, if you're not doing your thing, it's not going to happen for you. So the basics come first. And that kind of rolls into the fact that you want to be this diamond coach. You want to add coaches to your team. So you attract what you put out there, right? If you're looking for a rock star coach, you need to be a rock star coach. Okay? If that, mumbling, getting excited. So a few times in the past, I've helped my coaches with this, and they're like, Morgs, I'm just not attracting rock star coaches. I want rock star coaches. I want to grow a rock star business. And I'm like, girlfriend, I haven't seen a workout pic from you in like 2 weeks. Girlfriend, are you doing personal development? Girlfriend, you just told me last week you haven't drank Shaco in a month. How the hell do you expect to attract a rock star coach if you're not a rock star coach? And don't get me wrong, you don't need to be perfect. Hell, I'm the furthest thing from it. But you need to be doing your best because you want to attract coaches that do their best, right? So if you're pushing for diamond and you want to attract a great team with good morals and just has a positive vibe, that's what you need to put out there. Every post you do from now on, just be like, who do I want to attract? If I read this post, would it be somebody that I'm attracted to? You want to be that awesome coach that you want to attract, okay? And that comes down to the basics. So number one, the basics come first. All right. Number two, now we're getting into that goal. We're getting into that goal of being diamond. So this is figuring out what you need and learning in that area. Everybody's business about their goal of getting to diamond is going to look completely different. Yes, whatever. You need 8 coaches, 4 and 4, emerald, right? But the situation is going to look different for everybody. So you need to personally take 15 minutes tonight to brainstorm what you need. So personally, look at your business. Are you a emerald coach? 1 coach on each side. Okay, do you need 6? Okay, I need 6 more coaches. I need an emerald on each side. So that means you need to A, sponsor more people, B, figure out how you're going to help those people reach emeralds. Maybe you have your 8 coaches. Maybe you're just waiting on those emeralds. So you need to sit down tonight and figure out, how am I going to help my coaches reach emerald? My sponsoring is great. I've got my 8. I don't want you to stop sponsoring. You need more than 8 in the long run. But your focus now is emerald, right? If you're a brand new coach and you don't have any coaches on your team yet, sponsoring has to be what you need to work on, okay? So figuring out what you need, and the second part, learning what you're going to do in that area. And by that, I don't mean messaging Kelsey or Autumn. Mind you, they're phenomenal. They'll probably answer you right away. But I mean, jump on YouTube, okay? Sponsoring, recruiting, aka, I don't really like the word recruiting, was not my strong point. It still isn't my strong point. So most of the training videos I watch are about that because that's where I struggle. I'm actually not too bad at helping my coaches reach emeralds. I like teaching. That's what I like to do. But the sponsoring side of things, I sucked at. I'm getting better, but I sucked. So you don't even know how many YouTube videos I have pulled up, I've watched. Anything to do with sponsoring, like the National Wake Up Call the other day from Janelle Summers. I was on that like white on rice because I'm like, this is the call for me. I need this. Any YouTube training, I'm all over that. So If sponsoring is what you need to work on, jump on YouTube. I'm sure Kelsey and Autumn even have recommendations for you. Spend Saturday or Sunday just watching some videos and taking notes and kind of creating a game plan. If helping your coaches reach Emerald is what you need to work on, jump on YouTube, watch some training videos. That's the best part of Beachbody is friggin' everybody shares everything. YouTube is the best place on earth to learn about Beachbody. So number 2, figure out what you need and go learn in that area, okay? So number 1, basics come first. Number 2, figuring out what you need, go learn in that area. And that's on your own time. Got to block out time for that. All right, my last point on getting to Diamond is keeping it simple. When you look at Diamond, it's actually not that crazy hard, okay? It's sponsoring 8 coaches and helping one on each side hit Emerald. So when you think about it, when you reach Emerald, that's 2 coaches. And realistically, that could take you about, I don't know, a day, a couple days, not even. 2 people, not that bad. My first coach is my dad. My second one was a girlfriend. Boom, done. If you just do that again, you're at 4. If you do that again, you're at 6. If you do that again, boom, you're at 8. It's really, and then you just help 2 of those people do the Emerald thing. Like, it's really not that hard, not as hard as people make it out to be. They're like, I need to watch all these calls and all these trainings and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, not really. It's really getting your workout done every day, being a product of the product, doing your personal development so you're in a good place and you believe in yourself and you have confidence in your conversations. And then the last one, inviting, asking people if they've ever thought about coaching. So you can, what's the word I'm looking for? Digest? No, not digest. Dissect. You can dissect Diamond all you want and be like, how do I invite to coaching? Objections, scripts, conversations, all that stuff. And sure, you can find that all online. I'm sure Kelsey and Autumn have given you tons of examples, but keep it super simple. Be the example of the best coach you can be, because then you're gonna attract the people you want. Attraction marketing is this business. I promise you, the more you can do attraction marketing and put out there what you want to get back, the easier this is going to be for you. And be reliable to your team. That is my secret weapon. Autumn and Kelsey and myself have something very in common, and that is the fact that we show up every single day. Never did Autumn and Kelsey think they would message me and I wouldn't message them back. It might take me a day, but I'm here. Never would they think, oh, well, Morgan's off for this month. She's probably just so stressed she can't do Beachbody this month. No. And I have never seen that out of either of them either. If I message them asking for their goals, never have I gotten a message back and being like, Morgs, I'm busy. I'm just taking the month off, I think. I'll start back up next month. Never, ever, ever. Because as soon as you step back, you don't stay in the same spot. You step back 3 steps further, then okay, well, you start up again, then you're back. And I kind of talk about it like a well, a water pumping well, right? This business takes a lot to get going. You're gonna feel like you work your butt off for nothing, and I get it. You're pumping that well, pumping, nothing's gonna come out. You're probably working for like 5 cents an hour, or I know I was, because I was working all the time, I wasn't making nothing. But once you get that going, it gets easier and easier. The water starts flowing, and the momentum just gets going, and that's identical to this business. But if you stop pumping, you're starting from scratch all over again. So on this road to Diamond, it's very, very simple, yes, but you need to make sure you keep going and you're consistent, because now you're growing a team, right? It's not just you. If you don't work out, you're like the only one that knows, right? Not a big deal. But if you want to grow this rockstar team, you kind of got to transition into that leadership role. More people are depending on you. Not that you have to do this business all the time. You want your business hours, but this team is relying on you and for you to be there. So if you say you're going to be a diamond team, you're going to be a diamond team. Okay, you're going to be a diamond team this week, next week, a month from now. That's your goal. You're not going to hum and haw about it. So being consistent and reliable that way as well. So I think that's my blurb. But I would love to answer questions if there are any. If not, that's okay too. If there are, we can. Or if Kels and Autumn, you want me to touch on something else, we can as well.
All right. I'm just looking to see if there's any messages.
I know there's a bit of delay with this, but
I was muted and I'm talking to myself. Yeah, if anybody has questions, just post them below the video on YouTube or post them like
yeah, we can wait a little bit because I know you said the chat was
Yeah, there's quite a few viewers. So Morgan, I actually was wondering this question today. When it came to, okay, so you were working full-time, you were a teacher, and I actually have quite a few teachers that are interested in becoming coaches, and, you know, I shared with them what I did, but when I started teaching and doing this, I was already fairly far into the business, so I kind of had my own way of doing things, and I hadn't really thought about, well, a teacher that's busy and they're starting, you know, teaching and coaching at the same time, how do they balance the stress of both? And so when I was thinking of the power hour, like, what did you do as, like, you know, you're juggling report cards and all that kind of stuff. What did you do for your power hour to make it something that you could do and not get overwhelmed with?
Right. Awesome, awesome question. So, yeah, I started my first year teaching, first month of Beachbody coaching, all in the same month. So it was a real big learning curve. What I basically did was I gave myself grace, first of all. I knew this was going to be a learning curve, so I was okay with a little bit of failing and adjusting and figuring out what works for me. And I think that's the biggest thing you coaches need to know is it's okay not to figure it out. I'm 2.5 years in, and I still change things all the time. You guys know that. And I find better ways. But when I first started, I basically had 1 hour, right? And I that's all I did probably for the first year. So I kept it super simple. We're talking about the vital behaviors, right? Woke up, did my personal development, checked into my challenge groups, did my posts, answered messages, did follow-ups, and that was honestly it. Like, I didn't have a blog, I didn't have a YouTube channel, I didn't have like page, I didn't have Instagram. I literally was bare bones, and that's what's going to grow your business. I know there's so many extra pretty things out there, and that's cool. That's what makes this business so fun. But if you're not at that stage yet, you cannot get caught up with that stuff. So when I was a new teacher, I could not get caught up with that stuff because I didn't have time. So when I first started, I woke up and I worked out and I did my power hour after school, but I still lived with my parents. So that was a very distracting time. Mom's like, let's have supper, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, no, Mom, this isn't going to work. So what I did was I actually moved my power hour to the morning when nobody was up. At 5 a.m. I got up. They thought I was crazy because I was doing some pyramid schemey thing that I was going to probably quit in a year. So they thought I was crazy, but I did that in the morning, and then I worked out after school, usually probably after volleyball practice or coaching or whatever else I was doing. And I'm not going to lie to you, I worked really hard. This business, I think sometimes we fluff it up and it's all fine and dandy, but if you want to grow a serious business and your goal isn't just to be a hobby coach, mine wasn't, mine was to match my teaching income so I could leave, then it took some serious work. So I was willing to put that in every single day, no matter what.
Awesome. That's helpful. And that's something we've been really talking about in our training too lately is just, you know, if you have these goals and then you need to, you know, own up and you have to, this is a business. You got to step up to that plate and you need to dive in. And if you're putting those goals out there, then you need to write down the actions that will get you there and you need to do them every single day. So, and I actually saw in a call, I think it was Scotty Hobbs, he said that if you write out your goals every single day and you write down the actions or the things that you need to get done in the day and you accomplish them, you're already successful. And if you're successful at completing your task every day, then you will see success in the business. And I love that, because I'm like breaking it down to day by day, like just get today done, do it again tomorrow. You know, if you look back a year later, you're going to be amazed with what you can do. So I think that's a really good way of looking at it too. Oh, sorry.
I'll just show you one thing, and then I'll answer these questions that Autumn posted. So, where was I? So when I was a new coach, and like you said, Kels, writing down your goals every single day. This is a book I kept from when I first started coaching that literally has every single day written down, the same stuff pretty much every day. I usually did my top 3 goals and then 2 things I was thankful for, because I always wanted to keep that's what I read. I said, everybody always said, like, always write down your goals every single day and it'll just get ingrained in you, and also write down what you're thankful for to keep that positive mindset. So literally, right before I started my power hour, like 1 minute, I jot down my goals, same thing I wrote down yesterday, but who cares? It's that repetitiveness that kept me focused on what I was actually going after and why I was doing this. So, and Stephen was always one of the things I was thankful for, because I knew that in my personal business, my relationship played a big role in that, big role in my happiness, mental health, all that stuff. So he was always there too, which kept the relationship side of things strong and me focused on what mattered too. So sorry, that was a tangent.
No, that's awesome. I think that's important too. I actually think it was Mindy Wender's expectations of her coaches, and she wrote down her priorities, and she was saying that her faith and her family were her top 2 priorities, and then her coach family. And I think that's really important, because, you know, then you can, I think it's easy for coaches to, like, they want to, you know, rank advance, and they want to make this a full-time business, and it's easy to kind of let the people that you love and the things that you love kind of slide, and it's about finding balance and, you know, giving attention or being grateful for them and really acknowledging them in that part of that journey as well. So I think that's really great that you did that.
Yeah.
All right, do you want to dive into some of these questions Autumn posted?
Sure, okay. So we've got one from Anna. When do you start making your own team name? Do you need to be a certain rank? Well, Anna, let me tell you, I still don't have a team name. So no, that's kind of something that's totally personal. It's basically just a way to represent your team, and that's totally your call. Like I said, I don't have one, so totally up to you.
I remember there was a time, I think you posted in the team page once, and you're like, you guys, do you have like a team name idea? I'm not creative. And then, I don't know, I think some people threw some things out, and then nothing, I don't think so. It's like,
it might happen one day. Okay, Caitlin, how long did it take you to hit diamond? If I'm remembering correctly, which I don't actually, I'll have to look up the exact date, but it was a while. It might have been upwards of like a year, but like I said, keep that in mind. That's like my #1 regret in this business, is taking so long when it could have been a lot faster. So that it took a while, but that was kind of like because of my own holdback. So use this as a lesson. Sorry, go ahead, Autumn.
Oh, not to even like cut off or anything. It's a little bit different. It was about emeralds, but every time I talk to my team about going emerald, and I always say it took me a month and a half, and I hit my head every time, like, why did it take me a month and a half to get to emerald? Like, I could have done that in a day, and it's like I just wish I would have done it. And you get so held back for silly reasons, and it's usually, well, I don't know how to approach them, or I feel like I'm bothering them, or I'm not going to be a good leader. Like, it's like those little things that kind of get in your head. So it's the same thing with diamond. Like, just do it. You know, you're going to regret it. Like, I know I regret taking longer to get emerald because I could have got to diamond faster too, right? So
And I was the same way. I actually didn't hit Emerald for 3.5 months, and I didn't hit Diamond for 13 months. And it was the same thing as Morgan. I was just so afraid of sharing the business side of it. I had no problem hitting Success Club. I had no problem getting people into my challenge groups, but I was so afraid of asking and sharing I guess I was afraid of sharing that I was making money, and I was afraid of sharing that I didn't want to teach. I was kind of nervous about that because I was kind of undecided, and I'm still a little undecided about if I'm going to pursue any kind of teaching or not, but I was afraid of saying that because I myself wasn't sure, so I wasn't sure how to do it. So my biggest regret was just not sharing, like how it was impacting me right then and there. Now, like, it doesn't really matter about your future. How is it impacting you now? If it's impacting your life positively and you're enjoying it and you love it, why wouldn't you want to give someone else that opportunity to do it? So that's my same regret as both you ladies.
And I remember contacting Morgan, being like, I can get challenge pack sales. Like, I was top of like Success Club every month. I was like, I can do this, but I can't like get coaches. Like, I don't know how to switch this, and it took time, and it still takes time. Like, I'm always still learning. But I remember having that conversation with you. I don't know if it was in a group or if it was private, and I'm just like, how do I make this switch? Like, I need to grow my team, and we had to have that conversation and figure out how to move forward. But you just have it's that shift from, like you said, challenge pack salesperson to a team builder. I think is really key.
Exactly. And I think that was for me. That was basically the switch in my posts, right? I had no problem sharing that I loved working out, but for some reason, I'm like, why can I not share why I love this business? And literally, it was when one of my success partners pointed that out for me, that they're like, Morgs, you don't even share about the business. And they kind of told me, and I'm like, well, I don't know how to share it. Like, working out's really easy for me. So actually it was Bonnie that said, well, just go do a brain dump of everything that coaching's done for you, and like, just send it to me. And basically I did that. I wrote out for like a half an hour one evening everything that coaching's kind of made me feel or done for me in my life, and that was the switch. And I looked at that piece of paper, and it was everything from it helped me start listening to podcasts, to it helped me put a down payment on our first home, from something like it helped me appreciate Stephen more, to it helped me quit full-time teaching. And I looked at that list and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm selfish. If I'm like talking to Autumn and I know her situation and her financial situation, how unhappy she was at her job, and I'm too scared to tell her what I'm doing, I'm like, how selfish is that? Like, so as soon as I did that, like, if you struggle with that, I recommend it, because my gosh, like, after that, it was just game changing. Just like I would share a workout I love with my girlfriends because I know they'd love it too. Well, why can't I share coaching with my girlfriends? Because do they deserve to feel how good I feel from coaching? Hell yeah. If they don't, well, screw them. I'm not sharing it with you. But most people, I'm like, yeah, this is an opportunity that changed my life. Like, you guys don't even know. Steve and I were talking about the other day what our life would be like if we didn't have coaching. And I'd be full-time teaching right now, plus extracurricular every weekend, every day after school probably I'd be coaching. He would be working full-time at the store, and we would probably see each other from 7 till 9 at night, because I am like a really tired person. 2 hours a day. That's what we'd see each other. And I don't even want to think what our relationship would be like if that was the case right now, because I know it would not be good. I would be probably a very miserable person. So just that alone, that's why I share the business opportunity with people, and that's why I encourage them to keep going when it's hard, because the start is the hardest. Okay, I digress. I'll answer the other questions.
Just 1 second, and I think something cool about that too is that once you have that list, you can keep working from that list all the time and keep sharing it and like repeating it like all the time in different ways and shapes and forms. Like, once you have that, like, you don't have to just always think of new things. You can always keep coming back to that same list.
And I still do it in my day planner right here. I've got coaching posts. So anytime I think of an idea, I write it down, because chances are when it's time to post, I'm probably going to have a brain fart and I'm not going to think of anything. So that kind of just keeps me familiar with ideas I've had listening to calls or other things, so that I've got something to pull from.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Caitlin, I answered that one. Me. How do you take someone from Facebook to be your coach?
Sorry, that was me. Just because I really love to hear like the process of how you add somebody and then they become your coach.
Oh.
You know, that new friend to becoming on like a part of your team.
Awesome. So if you haven't actually, Autumn, you could even share that conversation I posted with Kirsten. I don't know if a lot of your coaches would have seen that. I posted Kirsten Crow, if some of you don't know. I posted my conversation literally from the very first time I talked to her to obviously currently, but till she signed up to be a coach. I posted that, and it was kind of cool to see. So it basically started off me saying friend request. Well, I think we were friends already, but friend requesting her and being like, hey, like, I love she took really cool photos at the time. I love your photography. Like, what kind of camera do you use? And that's how our conversation started. And then it kind of went. And then I was like, hey, by the way, like, next month, I'm this new program called 21 Day Fix is coming out, and I'm having a test group. Just wondering if you'd like to do it with me. And she did. So she went in my challenge group. And then halfway through that, I was like, hey, like, you're really involved in the group. Like, and you're liking the workouts, have you ever thought about coaching? And she's like, no. And I'm like, okay, so whatever. Went on for a couple months, and then I messaged her again saying I was having a new coach training, and she's like, no. I'm like, okay. And then the conversation went on, and then I messaged her again and was like, I kind of talked to her, I think it's about her photography again, and I saying how much I liked it, blah, 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 sparked up the conversation again, and then I brought up how she was just such a phenomenal challenger, and I still think she'd make a phenomenal coach, and then she decided to join as a coach. So I think a lot of us overthink the conversations, but if you want to share that with them, you totally can. But it kind of looks different for everybody. Like, Autumn, I think for you just like flat out messaged me about coaching.
I honestly, I don't even really remember exactly what I did. I remember the exact post you made. Like, I remember all that. Did I message you? Because I know you posted a photo from your cruise, which is why I say get on trips, because I remember that's what stuck out to me. And you had the picture from your cruise, and I think you had your income beside it.
Okay.
I'm not, like, normally I wouldn't be someone that would, like, cling to, like, an income post, but I was so unhappy in my job, and honestly, I don't even know if it was the income post that got me, but it was that she looked happy, and she was traveling, and she was healthy, and, like, I just saw that post, and then I think you were hosting a sneak peek.
Oh, okay.
I joined in your sneak peek, and then I remember you followed up with me, and then I took a night to think about it, and I ended up just doing it the next morning because I felt like, what am I going to lose? Like, I need something in my life to make me happier, so I just did it. I don't remember exactly, like, if I messaged you. I need to dive into our messages and see where that all started.
I think all I remember is I think you were like, I've done something like this before, and I spent lots of money, and it didn't work. Is this going to work or something?
Seriously, and I'm not even going to lie. When Morgan had first added me, we were friends for about a year. And then I joined some other company, which, if anything, that was a scam. And I joined some other company because one of my old bosses was doing it, and I trusted in her. They sat down and promised me to pay off all my debt, no issues, no problems, left me to go on my own. And within a month, I was like, this is not for me. Like, it was business meetings. It was just not for me. Anyways. So I even approached Morgan. I was like, hey, we can team up. We can totally get this together. And then she ignored me. She ignored me. I was like, okay, cool, that's fine. And then a year later, I saw her post, and I joined her.
I totally forgot about that message.
And now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, well, duh, she'd ignore me. Like, I'd ignore that too. Like,
Oh.
Morgan, I actually, when I was talking to Sarah about doing a challenge group, and I saw well, it was actually you were on your cruise as well, and then I saw you post on Facebook, like, want to read more about my trip, like, go look at my blog. I read your blog, no word of a lie, at least 10 times. I went home, I read it to my parents, and I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going on that cruise. I'm going to go on that business. Like, I was like, this is happening. My mom's like, are you sure? It was like, are you sure this is real? And then I decided, that's when I messaged Sarah to get a challenge pack. And I was like, no, just sign me up as a coach at the same time. Because all I could think about was your blog. I wanted to go so bad. And now I get to go. So that's pretty cool.
And that's the friggin' cool thing, too. You just never know what's going to click with people. So just try everything. Okay, I'll dive into these. Tamara was asking if I was talking about my daily goals or big goals in my book, and I do any goals that are on my mind, anything I want to focus on for that. Team Morgan Minions. Oh, jeez. Okay, do you have any tips on how to motivate your team more, or do they just have to want it themselves? I'm trying to create a culture of Success Club and get it out how important it is, hold weekly calls and do one-on-one team calls with them, but I still haven't had any coaches sign anyone up, and some just don't want the one-on-one calls, but they say they want to build a business. You pretty much described the situation for every coach on the planet. So first of all, you're normal. First, when I say I did team calls for myself for like a year, I'm serious. Like, dead serious. I would record them and post the recording. It was great practice, but you are super, super normal. And this is the building phase. This is the pumping the well when nothing's coming out phase. You see me as a 9-star coach right now. That isn't how I started. I started like everybody else. Same with Kels and Autumn. So what I would say in this case is what I say to everybody and what I said to myself. I'm my business. The only person I control is me, and as long as I keep going, my business is going to keep going. I'm going to lead from the front, and whoever wants to follow and come with me, I'm going to support them 110%. I control me, and that's what I did. That's what I do for the past 2.5 years. I don't necessarily I don't handhold. Like, I support people 100%. Like, if you have questions, if anything, like, I'm there for you. But I'm not going to drag you along when you don't want to be. So I think it's a fine line between you supporting your team and those that want to grow, and you blessing and releasing maybe those that aren't ready, because you will kill yourself dragging people along, and you're going to waste your time, right? Your business grows with the runners. Your business grows with the 1 or 2 people that want to run. Literally, one coach can change your business. And not even your coach. It could be a downline coach that your coach signs up that could completely change your volume and change your business. So never think, my coaches just aren't doing anything. Well, it's not just your coaches that matter. It's your whole team. But the way you're going to create a culture and create that vibe of your team is through you, is through what you're doing. And my team page was silent for 2 years, literally. Like, you see it now. Obviously, I took off like the always posting stuff on it because it got crazy. But there was nothing. Nobody commented. Nobody was doing anything. But you know who posted every single day? Me. I asked a question. Nobody answered. I'd take a poll. Nobody answered. You know, like, and that's okay. That's normal. I had sneak peeks. Nobody answers. That's cool. I'm still going to post. And I learned that from Melanie Mitro, that, you know, she did team calls, she did training, she did everything with no answer. That's okay. I'm the example. I'm my business. And if I'm putting out there the ultimate coach or a coach that's trying hard, I'm eventually going to attract those people. But there's no chance I'm giving up. And sure enough, slowly, one by one, they start to come. Just think, Autumn watched me for a year. Could you imagine if she only watched me for a month and saw me give up? Well, she would have been like, it is a scam. I knew it. It took her 12 months, and that's why I say consistency is key, because if I would have gave up within those 12 months, I wouldn't have found her, and her life wouldn't have been changed, right? So yeah, I guess that's just it. You just got to keep doing you. You're your business, and you control you. That's what matters.
And I think it's also important to remember that, because, like, yes, it sucks when you log on and you're expecting people to show up that don't show up, but, like, I've been in that position. You know, I'm sure Kelsey's been in that position, but what it also shows is that you're always showing up and you are being consistent. So those are the behaviors that your coaches are going to model. So I always remember when I log into a call and nobody shows up, I do it anyways. Why? Because Morgan did it. So I follow her behaviors and I do what she did, because I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I'm going to do what she did. And if she showed up every day and she was consistent every day, like, I know it's a no-brainer that that's what I got to do too. And eventually, and I always have it in my head, like, I know, like, eventually it'll come, and, you know, those people will show up and I will attract those people. But if I'm not creating those behaviors and that consistency, then it won't happen. So I definitely noticed the same thing, and I totally do. I totally do the same thing. It is absolutely normal, for sure.
Okay. I think Kelsey was the last one here. From Kayla. Yep. What do you post in your team page when everyone is just hobby coaches, are not going for the business aspects? Okay, so I think first of all, a key thing I would say, if you haven't listened to Janelle Summers' National Wake Up Call, to do that, because she kind of covers labeling people as discount, hobby, and business. And this is something I'm personally going to work on, because this is another regret I had, is for a couple months of my business, I went after the discount opportunity or hobby opportunity. And you know who I attracted? Hobby coaches, discount coaches, not consistent coaches. And my business did not advance. When I flipped the switch and I started posting myself and sharing the business opportunity, guess who I attracted? Business coaches, right? So I think in your team page, you need to post what you want to attract. It's okay if they're hobby and discount coaches. That doesn't matter. But you know what's going to flip their switch and get them learning what the business is about is if you post it, right? If you're posting team calls, you never know. Maybe they're like, dang, that Brittany Leggett, she's pretty. Maybe I'll just jump on this call and see what this coaching thing's all about. I'm not doing anything tonight anyways. And then they get off, they're like, oh my gosh, like maybe I do want to coach. You don't know how many of my coaches said they were going to be discount or hobby coaches and were like, I'm just hooked, right? So I think getting away from labeling people might be a key thing. When somebody does sign up and they're like, Morgs, I think I just want, like, I don't want to start this yet, I ask them, I'm like, okay, do you want me to just give you the information and add you into our team pages just so you're there in case? And most people say yeah, so I'll do that. But don't custom your team page to those people. Your team page is to, if you're growing a business, your team page is meant to grow a business, right? So you run that team page how you're running your business. If you're just running a hobby business, then it's a hobby team page, right?
Because I
was
just going to mention, like, because Kirsten started off as a discount coach, right? So I'm sure when she was on your team and, you know, on your team page and stuff, you weren't just posting hobby stuff, right? Like, you were posting the business stuff, and something that you did sparked something in her mind to change her opinion on what it was that she wanted to do with her business.
Yep.
And I was going to say, too, sometimes coaches say that they want to be a hobby coach or a discount coach because, you know, they're struggling to see how they actually can do it, or they don't have the belief in themselves. I have a coach on my team. I'm not going to call her out, but she signed up as a coach, and it was literally like 20 minutes later, I posted a welcome for her publicly. I was just like, no, she's going to be awesome. And I posted, and she's like, I hadn't even told my husband yet. She's like, nothing, right? She's like, I didn't know if I was going to work the business or not, but because you believed in me and you believed enough to publicly tell everyone that I was doing it, she's like, I believed in myself. And she is like a coach away from being diamond. So, sometimes it's just you have to believe in them. If you see something in them, believe in them and let them know that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and that takes, I think you have to have grace with yourself in that area too if you're a newer coach. It took me time to find my confidence, I think. My confidence in posting about the opportunity, my confidence in knowing I was knowledgeable and I had something to offer those coaches in my team page. And that came down to a lot of personal development. Like, I do a lot of personal development. Me and Kels were talking about this. Any time I can have something in my ears or playing or reading, I am doing it. I don't care if I'm not even really listening. Like, as long as it's like going into my ears, it just has something to do with your confidence. And know that you're not like the Buddha, right? Like, if you've noticed, everything I post in my team page is usually from somebody else. Somebody else's information I learned from and think it's phenomenal and I want to share. So you can literally take what I post or what Autumn posts and copy and paste it into your team page. That's what I do. So again, you attract what you put out there. Just with your public posts, what you put into your team page is what's going to start to flow, right? You don't see me post negativity in my team page because that's not what I want to flow. You see me post a lot of personal development stuff because that's what I want to flow. Success Club, that's what I want to flow. I'm not complaining about whatever, I don't know, shipping delays or whatever, because that's not what I want to flow. So you attract what you put out there too. My cheeks are starting to get red. Oh, they always do that when I talk on calls.
Autumn, do you see any more questions? I don't see anything.
I don't see any more questions, so.
Awesome.
But if there is, of course, we can always pass them on to her too.
Totally.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Morgan. That was awesome. Answering all those calls, like every single one of those was an absolute gem. So that's awesome. I know that's going to help so many of our coaches and so many of the other coaches that are going to watch this recording. And I'm just super pumped to see where everyone goes forth from here. So thank you for taking the time out and doing this with us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And I'll probably grab the recording link. I don't know what it is. I'll get it on your YouTube, and I'll post it in our page, too.
Same link.
Super fun. Same link? Okay, perfect. Yeah. This is new. Okay, awesome. Thanks so much for having me, guys.
All right. See you guys.